Ooh. What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
We get Nerdy Nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
Yeah. That is right. Welcome back to a Tuesday edition, the 97th edition of the Nightly Morning Show. We are quickly approaching 100.
Yeah, we're almost there.
We are in week 20 of doing this.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I know, I can't believe that.
That's wild.
But we did it. We did it. We're going to hit episode 100 on Friday.
On Fritty. All right, y'all, welcome back. If you're watching this on our YouTube page, thank you. Please like and subscribe, but also come watch us live. Starting next week, it's going to be Monday mornings only, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on twitch.tv/nerdynightly. You can also come watch us live if you're currently listening to our podcast feed. Mm-hmm. I know there are some of you who like just our voices and not our faces, and that I understand.
That's fair.
Especially ever since I dyed my hair. I wouldn't turn on the video either. But I hope that you'll come watch us live. Unfortunately, you do have to put up the video. But, you know, that's life. Sometimes you have to look at people you don't want to look at.
Wow.
Like your wife.
Wow. Okay. All right. I feel very attacked right now. I was gonna be all nice, like I was gonna be like, no, I like your pink hair, like I don't mind it. It's totally fine. And now I'm just like, all right, whatever. Mhm. You did a bad dye job.
I did. I know. It's just it's really just like the bottoms back here it's like brown.
I know. There's a chunk right here that's just brown.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's hilarious. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, why did I say I would do it myself?
You know what? You tried?
I have a wife who is good at these things, and I was like, you know what? No, I've got this.
Well, you know, it was definitely more fun that way, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm sleepy.
Yeah, you went for a bold lip.
Yeah. Honestly, I probably shouldn't have because I was late.
That's fine. You're always late.
Yeah, but I was like 10 minutes late, and I was like, I get really,
Shin, thank you for gifting that sub to Azo.
Shin, thank you so much. I get really, like, particular with, like, the lines, and if they're not perfect, it bothers me. But the problem is that because I sit at a slight angle, it still, like, doesn't look perfect in the camera, and so it's, pissing me off. But here we are.
I think it looks fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Even though you don't like looking at me.
I love looking at you. I just have to keep you humble because you're so pretty, you're so smart, you're so talented, and if your head gets too big, you'll realize I'm not good enough for you, and then I will be a divorcee.
Okay.
And
sure.
So it's a balancing line of like saying enough nice things that you're like, oh, he loves me, but then like having those like slight 1-2 punches to like keep you at my level.
Wow.
Because I can't lose you, or else my life will have no meaning.
God.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm glad we had this talk live on the internet.
Publicly in front of other people.
Yeah.
Hi everyone.
How are you doing? How are you doing? How's your day?
I'm good, y'all. We're 2 badges away from finishing our Beedroll run. Not really. We still have to beat the Elite Four. But we're gonna do that today. So if you guys want to come back at 2:00 Eastern Standard Time, we are going to be playing the Beedroll run here on twitch.tv/nerdynightly. We're having an earlier stream tonight because I'm really excited about this. Tonight is the premiere of Superman and Lois. This is the first live-action Superman show that we've had on television since the Dean Cain show in the 90s. And I'm really excited to see what they do. For those of you who've been following us for a while, you know we've done 2 trailer reactions for the show. We did a trailer reaction to the first trailer, which we both resoundingly did not like at all.
Yeah.
And then a second trailer, which we both really enjoyed.
Yeah. Did you ever respond to the guy on Twitter?
No, I'll do that. I'll do that tonight before the show.
One of the editors of the trailer on Twitter
the one we liked.
The one that we liked reached out to us on Twitter and was like, hey, you guys kind of nailed what I was going for with this. And we were like, wait, what? So
yeah, that was very cool. I need to reply to that guy.
It was very cool.
Chaotic Neutral Goblin in the chat is bringing up Smallville. Smallville is not a Superman show. Smallville is a Clark Kent show. And I will die on this hill forever. In Smallville, Clark Kent is Superman for exactly one shot. And it is the final shot at the very end. Smallville is like a prequel. It's in the same way that I don't think that Gotham is a Batman show, because Bruce Wayne isn't Batman until the very end of it. Although actually he is Batman for more of that show than Superman is in Smallville. I think Smallville is a great show. I only watched the first 7 seasons.
Only the first 7.
Well, Michael Rosenbaum left. And Lex Luthor left the show, and he was my favorite part, and so I fell off. I should go watch the last 3 seasons, but when Michael Rosenbaum left, I just kind of was like, this is what I was here for. Right. The relationship between Tom and Michael's Clark and Lex was that show for me, and without that, I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't really. Yeah. I wasn't interested in continuing. I also was like going into college and was like, I don't have time.
That's fair. There's what, 10?
Yeah, I think 10 seasons of Smallville.
Right. Yeah,
and
that's just Dan's favorite show.
I will forever be grateful to Smallville. I think that it is the modern superhero television exists because of Smallville. I think that it paved the way for so much of the CW universe, which everyone knows I love and watch every single episode of every show of. This is stuff that I love, and Smallville is the precursor to that, and I will always be grateful to it. However, it's not a Superman show. Like, you could call him the Red Blue Blur if you want.
The Red Blue Blur.
That's what they call him in the show. Because he can't fly yet, right? So he just runs really fast. So in photos, it's all they're like, here's another photo of the Red Blue Blur, because he'll like save the day, but all the photograph will just be like a Red Blue Blur. A Red Blue Blur. Why did they name him that? It is so hard to say.
I hate
running
that.
in and saving the day.
All right. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't consider that a Superman show then. But yeah, I'm excited for Superman and Lois. I'm kind of like apprehensive, not gonna lie. The first trailer, not good. But the second one looks pretty decent. So I think it depends on which side the actual show airs towards. Because if it just is so dark it makes me want to curl up under my desk and chew on the wires, then no, I don't want to watch it. So we're gonna have to see.
I don't think it will.
How this goes.
I have a feeling the first trailer was a cut by a trailer editor. I don't think the actual show will be able to. I just don't think the show would be able to sustain the tone. Yeah. Even like the tone of Man of Steel only works in a movie, but if you tried to stretch that tone out over a series, it would just kind of get lethargic. And I don't anticipate the CW putting out a show that has that feeling. I'm really excited for tonight. Shin's just on a gifting spree lately. Shin, thank you for gifting us sub to Muddles.
Shin is being a mad lad.
Shin is truly being a mad lad. But Muddles, enjoy your 6 month of subscription, my friend. But yeah, no, I'm excited for tonight. I'm curious. I like Tyler Hoechlin as Superman. I've said it ever since that first Supergirl episode he premiered in. I think that he's a really, really good Superman. And what I've loved about his Superman on television is his positivity. And so I'm hopeful that we'll get some of that tonight. As well as an explanation as to how you could be Superman your kids' whole lives without them knowing.
Yeah. Yeah, they must have... I don't know. That's like the greatest cover-up in the history of cover-ups.
Yeah, truly.
So we'll find out. Well, probably not tonight. We'll find out over the course of a few episodes, I think.
No, I feel like tonight we have to learn how they pulled it off.
Okay.
I don't think the kids are going to learn that. Oh, no, you know what? I think the kids are going to learn he's Superman in the first episode.
Actually, yeah, that was a lot of the trailer, so I think you're right. I think that's.
They only have 15 episodes, so I feel like they're gonna jump feet in.
Yeah, I can see that.
Do you think that this show starts like with a quiet scene on Kent Farm, or big action sequence to start it off?
Kent Farm.
Really? I think it's gonna be a big action sequence. I think they're gonna start off with Superman being Superman, and then it's gonna pull back into Clark Kent.
All right. I bet you some dark chocolate.
Ooh, it's a dark chocolate bet. I didn't know we were actually betting, but sure.
Why not? Why the hell not?
It's a dark chocolate bet.
You can't really lose. Just means more dark chocolate in the house, so.
Yeah, it would be better if we didn't like the same chocolate. Like if one of us liked milk and one of us liked dark.
Well, I do like milk, but dark is...
it's just better.
It's tough. It's tough. Sometimes I'm in the mood for milk chocolate. Most of the time, I'll take the dark chocolate.
Should we get into some news? Where is the news?
It's on there somewhere.
Not the story I wanted to talk about first, so we're going to talk about something else first, then I'm going to find that later. Y'all, Zack Snyder has never seen Joss Whedon's cut of Justice League, which is surprising considering he is credited as being the director on it.
Why?
Why hasn't he watched it?
Yeah.
Well, Christopher Nolan and his wife sat down and watched it together, and they decided that he should never see it because it would make him cry. Which you know what? Like, here's the thing. This story's funny to me for a lot of reasons, but the love of like being his friend and being his wife and being like, you know what? You just don't. Like, I need more friends like that in my life.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. Like that the movie had so many problems that I feel like watching it as research as what not to do would actually be really helpful, because right now I'm really terrified that this movie is going to be trash based on what we've seen. We
liked the trailer. We didn't like one photo of the Joker.
Okay. I liked the trailer until the end.
Yeah, that's true.
And then I was like, oh god, this is gonna be like cringy, gross, preachy, like
pretentious.
Yeah, no. Just like up its own ass. And I just have no interest. You know what I mean? Like, and
here's the thing. I don't think it can be worse than the Snyder Cut, or than the Joss Whedon cut. This is so confusing. I hate talking about this. Because, at least Henry Cavill's face will look like Henry Cavill's face the whole time.
Yeah.
In the entire movie, Henry Cavill will never once look like Shrek. That is a gift to humanity.
Yes. Here's the thing. I think the movie's going to look a hell of a lot better. Mm-hmm. The movie, I think, is going to look great, which is why I really hope we get to see it in a theater. But I don't know if the story, I don't know if the movie itself is going to be better. Which is, impressive, because the Justice League is so bad.
Yeah. Well, and Frank Baines brings up, what if all the Joker stuff is just to get people to watch it, and he's only a movie for 5 minutes? Here's the thing.
Then that would still piss me off.
But, okay, well then you're going to be mad in 2 seconds. Here's what we know about the Joker. He is in a single scene of the movie. He's only in one scene. Mm-hmm. And so all of this marketing, all of this, shock tactic marketing is for a single scene.
Which is cheap. It's cheap and lazy, and I hate it.
I'm not a fan of it. I think that they're using the Joker because the Joker's popular, and
because people have such conflicting opinions on him.
Well, yeah, because it's controversial, and using controversy to market your movie. And I said this. I made a video yesterday on the channel. If you guys didn't see it, talking about that Jesus picture of Joker with the crown of thorns on. And my point in it was that it felt like it was just using the fact that it will upset people to get people to talk about the movie.
Yeah.
And I was confused because I feel like the movie had really good word of mouth. And I was like, why put this out? Everyone was already talking about your movie. You didn't need to be controversial.
Yeah.
Everyone is talking about this.
Yeah.
It just felt like a misstep from a marketing perspective for the film.
Yeah. That
is on track to be very watched and get people to sign up for HBO. I just feel like this movie's going to do everything they want it to do.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's such a bizarre. It's such a bizarre turn, because we walked away from the trailer being like, it was a funny line at the end, but we're pretty into this. I feel pretty into Snyder Cut. And then this came out, and there was a whole interview yesterday that came out with Zack Snyder that was really interesting, and he did finally address kind of the toxic fans within the Snyder Cut movement.
Yeah, I did see that,
and I appreciate him addressing that. I've said before that was like my first interaction with Snyder Cut was with the more toxic side of it. And that I know that it's some charitable work and there's great stuff about Snyder Cut fans as well. I don't want to say, like it goes either way 100%, right?
Yeah.
It's somewhere down the middle, but I don't know, that putting out that photo as marketing, it just felt very off-putting to me, and I don't know why. Just because it didn't really feel like it had much purpose.
Yep. Yeah, I'm the same. I hate that it's there, and I don't really think that there's a way it could be in the movie that's gonna make me okay with kind of how they handled it.
Yeah.
Especially knowing he's only in one scene. So honestly, right now I'm just kind of pissed.
Yeah, ever since he played, Jared Leto's kind of been off-putting to me ever since he played the trans woman in Dallas Buyers Club. I don't know.
I did not know that he did that.
Yeah, he won an Academy Award for it, I believe. It's a great movie and he's great in it. But then ever since then, he's made some weird choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very strange. Very strange. But you know what, Zack Snyder? Can I be honest? Don't watch the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League, even though your name's on it. And you know what, Warner Brothers? After this comes out, if this is good, just like get rid of just don't put it up anywhere.
Put what?
The Joss Whedon cut. Just like.
Yeah. Just
hand it over to Disney and be like, hey Disney, we know you've got a vault. Can you put this in it? And it'll be like, hopefully Pocahontas and Joss Whedon's Justice League.
Yeah.
Just keep them in there.
Yeah, we don't need them.
Close the door.
Yeah. Lock it 6 times.
Mark Miller and Frank Quitely's Jupiter's Legacy, a comic book that is pretty loved and has a long legacy, pun intended, is coming to Netflix in the form of an animated show, or maybe it's not animated. It's not. Maybe? I don't actually know. But what I do know is that the show's coming May 7th. Jupiter's Legacy is a fun show. I don't want to spoil anything about it.
Okay.
But it's a really fun comic. Mark Miller is an incredible writer. Frank Quitely is an incredible artist. We're going to do a trailer reaction once we have a trailer to react to. This teaser that they put out today isn't really worth doing that too. But I definitely think if you like fun, interesting kind of thoughtful comic book reading, I think that Jupiter's Legacy is for you, and you should definitely check it out.
Okay. What's the premise? Like a very like sales pitch.
It's just like a sort of superhero-y. Josh Duhamel's gonna be voicing the Utopian. And the line in the trailer is, one day you're going to be stronger than anyone else in the world. Every evil you can imagine is going to rise up against mankind, and not for justice, for vengeance. And you're going to be the future.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
In other news, the PlayStation company, known as Sony, I know they do other things, but to me they're the PlayStation company. They also make Spider-Man movies, so I guess they're that too. But they are coming out with PlayStation VR.
Oh yes.
2. The first PlayStation VR was pretty successful. If a very young entry into the world of VR.
I didn't even know it existed, to be honest. But I've never had a PlayStation.
That's fair. The VR, the first PlayStation VR, it was a good system, but the technology's come a long way since it.
Yeah.
Especially with how high quality and how low cost the Oculus Quest 2 was. I'm excited to see what PlayStation VR does with this one. It is going to be a corded console, so you are going to have a single cord coming off of you to play it. Unfortunately, It won't be wireless. But that says that it will be coming, but it will not be coming in 2021. So if you are waiting for a VR headset to go along with your PS5, you might be waiting a little bit more than a year from now.
I thought maybe that they would push that out for Christmas, but okay.
Here is the story I wanted to talk about, the one I couldn't find. I found it.
You found it.
Battlestar Galactica's Ron Moore to develop Magic Kingdom TV universe for Disney+. If you had to guess what that meant, what would you think that meant?
Magic Kingdom, isn't that like a... Is that a book?
Oh, no. Magic Kingdom is the Disney Magic Kingdom. This is a television universe based on... The series will reportedly take place in a world where all the themed lands and characters of the Disney parks and classic films actually exist in another reality. So...
It's going to be a show about Disney World.
It's going to be if Disney World was a real place.
I mean, it is a real place.
No.
But
No. Like, if it wasn't a theme park. If Disney World was, like, a world that existed, but you didn't go visit it. Like, they lived there. And, like there's, like, Mickey and Minnie's Land. And there's, like, Snow White's castle. No. Cinderella's castle. Mm-hmm. The look on your face is so worth it.
I am so...
Disney World. Hero of Win in the chat says, so Kingdom Hearts. Yes, this is Kingdom Hearts without the plot. Although, honestly, Kingdom Hearts without the plot would probably be better than Kingdom Hearts with the plot.
Oh, wow, okay.
I have strong feelings about Kingdom Hearts 3. I was really let down by that game. I really like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and Kingdom Hearts 3 really just... It just kneecapped me a little bit. I was very disappointed.
Yeah, so Azure at Ravenwitch is saying, please tell me it's for adults so there's some darkness. Like what is this show? What, like...
Here's the thing. Once Azure Ravenwitch is brought up Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time already did this, except, like, Mickey and Minnie weren't in it. So I think it's going to be... It's supposed to be live action. So
it's going to be like a kid's version of Once Upon a Time where no one actually has real world problems because it's a kid's show.
No, there will be real problems.
They're going to learn how to share and stuff like that. I don't think
it's going to be that young. It's going to be... Disney Plus doesn't really make that young of content. Look at what we're watching with WandaVision right now, right? Like, that's Disney Plus. Like, to say that this is going to be for, like, 5-year-olds, I don't think is going to be the case. I think this will be more for, like 14 to 18-year-olds. Yeah,
I just don't think they'd ever, like, make, like, the characters... Like, I don't think they'd ever have Mickey Mouse in something as dark as WandaVision.
No. Here's the thing. I don't know what this is. It's just such a funny title.
Anyone knows what this is.
The first show in this is going to be called the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. I don't know what that means either. This is a very confusing announcement.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah, so like.
I also he made the reboot of Battlestar Galactica. So it's just kind of like, why would you get the guy who... Have you seen the reboot of Battlestar Galactica? Like, what about that guy made you scream, yeah, he could do the Mickey Mouse show. That guy, that's the guy who wanted to do the Mickey Mouse show.
I don't
He's brilliant. That's not a...
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
This on Ron Moore. I love his work on Battlestar Galactica. I read this and I was like, I don't even know what to take of this. Like, this is what it is. This is putting the cart before the horse. As far as a universe, they're saying, all right, we have Disney characters. Let's make a universe of shows that they'll just exist in, and it'll totally make sense.
Yeah, no. Oh, I'm gonna pass on that one.
If you had to make the show, right? Who would you make the protagonist be, and who would you make the villain be?
Okay.
You have all the Disney characters.
Okay. The protagonist is going to be Pluto. And the premise of the show...
Pluto the dog?
Pluto the dog.
Brilliant.
The protagonist is Pluto
the
dog.
You don't even have to say anything else. The greenlit.
Okay, great.
I would watch a live action Pluto the dog show. But no, actually go
Here's the thing. He's going to have to figure out what is different between himself and Goofy and what makes himself a dog and Goofy a real character. That's the premise of the show. Because I'm still confused. And I think that we need answers.
They build an entire universe of television shows to answer the question of why Goofy is a dog, or why Goofy
is a
can talk
person
and Pluto can't.
and yeah,
that's it. That's the whole premise.
That's it. You're welcome. I
love it.
Disney, hire me.
Villain is Goofy.
I'm happy to give you my cell phone number. To keep Pluto from realizing the truth. Oh my
Here's
God.
the thing. I'm only down for this if Livewire makes an appearance.
Livewire?
If we listen to each other's eyes, and find we're never too far apart, and maybe love is the reason why. For the first time ever, we're seeing things eye to eye.
What a bop.
Such a good song.
Yeah.
Such a good song. I need more. No. Livewire. Livewire is the protagonist of the show. Okay? It is a musical comedy set in the Disney Kingdom starring Livewire. And it is...
It's Glee.
It's Livewire goes on tour to all of the Magic Kingdom locations. So he goes to Hercules Land. He goes to it is a musical comedy about the difficulties of being a touring musician, but set around the Disney Kingdom. And so it gets into the being a pop artist at a queen's castle versus being a pop artist in
Mushroomland?
Mushroomland?
I don't know.
What is Mushroomland?
I was thinking Alice in Wonderland. But
I was Super Mario? How did we get to the Mushroom Kingdom?
No.
I would be so down for this. I
mean, honestly, that sounds pretty dope. But I like my idea better because it's very dark.
It's not really that dark. You could do that without the darkness.
It could be. You don't know what Pluto's had to go through.
I mean, he's a very happy dog. I don't think he's had to go through all that much.
He only looks happy because he's a dog.
What?
He's probably just crying inside because he doesn't understand why he can't communicate properly like everyone else can. I would be very upset as well. You know, I can't imagine. If I was the only one out of my friends who couldn't speak, that would be very, very, very sad.
Jesus Christ. What is life?
What
a nonsensical world we live in.
Yeah, that's my idea for the show. Disney, feel free to call me. My price is very reasonable.
It's the minimum. Whatever the WGA minimum is. You can pay us that, and we'll make you a show.
Exactly.
Dark Dispatch brought up that movie theaters are going to be opening in New York soon.
Yes.
Which is the next thing I did want to talk about. Mm-hmm. But it is big news because of the wonderful thing she does. Because we've been talking a lot about the daily box office.
Yeah.
Or the weekly box office, rather. And how Croods 2 is doing really well. And I was saying that I want Croods 2 to pass Tenet, but it has to make $7 million more.
Yes.
Here's the thing. There are a lot of families in New York City who have not seen Tenet yet. And New York City is one of the largest markets in the country. So when movie theaters reopen in New York, there is a chance that there will be an influx of cash to the Croods 2. The movie theaters opening in New York...
You mean there's a bunch of families who haven't seen the Croods 2 yet?
Yes, that's what I was saying.
And not Tenet. Okay.
Right.
Okay,
So,
okay,
yes, I messed that up. But my point is, Clarus, there was a chance that New York City is reopening its theaters because they know how close the Croods 2 is to passing Tenet, and they know how much we need this as a society.
They know.
New York Mayor Bill de Blasio is working for the Croods 2, and that's the only explanation here.
Yeah.
Shin, thank you for gifting another sub to Fear the Reaper 99. Shin, you're a mad lad.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is all about the Croods 2?
100%.
Yeah.
That is the only motivation here. Everything else is kind of secondary. You know, it's definitely 100% about the Croods 2. You know, they've been, the mayor's been watching our show, actually, and has been watching, and it's we need the Croods 2 to pass Tenet. As a society, as a cultural, historical moment, we need the Croods to make more money than Tenet. And so I think it's a good move. Yeah,
we just need LA to follow. LA, if you could also open up so that Croods 2 could pass Tenet, I would really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cheesy Please wants to know, why do we need that? Good question. Moving on. Oh no, hardcore soft popcorn. New York City just realized it needed to be done.
Yeah.
look, Carus. I don't know. The real reason here is that the numbers, it looks safe. Honestly, we've been to the movies a few times since the pandemic started.
Yeah.
Not since we got to Toronto, but in Calgary.
Yeah, we haven't been in since July.
And I think that there is room for these movie theaters to be running at reduced capacity. I just believe that. I think that it's safe. We've done it. It felt safe when we did it.
Yeah. It's a huge theater, and if there's only, 6 to 10 people in there, obviously capacity would be a little bit more than that, but even when theaters were open, we saw movies with 5 other humans in the room, so it felt very safe.
Yeah, and this is a good sign. I mean, New York City has been really aggressive in its vaccination campaign, and also there's just a belief that so many people in New York City have had COVID, that it is just the amount of herd immunity there between the vaccine and just the original transmission is high enough that things like this are safe. I don't know if they should open gyms yet. I don't know if they should open places where you're sweating and working out, but
breathing heavily.
A movie theater where you're sitting down in a large space that's ventilated, that has high ceilings. I don't know. This just feels it feels right, and I think that we the vaccine is starting to come out. We have to start figuring out how to get business going again, or else we're gonna lose all these businesses, and that is going to be the wave of difficulty that we go through as a society if we lose all of the businesses is going to be not just as bad, obviously, but it's going to have a lot of really, really negative downsides to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting move. Here in, it's funny, here in Ontario, it's a little different because the York region is not opening movie theaters, but is opening gyms. And I definitely think that a movie theater is a safer place to be than working out at a gym. So I think if New York is going to start anywhere, a movie theater at reduced capacity, it's pretty safe.
Yeah.
And those theaters get cleaned in between each movie anyways.
Yeah.
So it's it's unfortunate that it's come so far that they believe that enough people have been sick that they're going to be okay.
Yeah.
But it is a reality of the situation, and, they could do nothing about it, or they could try and pick up the economy. So, I get it.
Azure says they do not get cleaned well. It's a spot clean. Azure, there's a type of chemical that they can spray in movie theaters between seatings. That's what they were doing in Calgary when we were there.
Yeah.
And so the movie theaters are investing in this chemical that essentially they do a walkthrough spray between showings, and that is able to kill corona. And so that is kind of the idea. I don't know if that's what New York is going to implement. I hope so. I hope the movie theaters will have that sort of implementation. But that is how certain places have been doing it safely. And I think that there are ways to mitigate problems. You know what I mean? There are things that we can do other than just keep everything closed forever. And we take this very seriously. We follow the rules. We are very much. We don't see anyone. We haven't seen anyone in months.
Yeah.
And we we want to be as safe as possible.
Yeah.
But the reality of the world is that the business. If all of our businesses disappear, and no one has jobs, we do not have welfare systems in place to take care of people in that situation. And so it's really just it's really just a difficult question of how do we do it the safest way possible, because the safest thing to do is just to keep everything closed, right?
Yeah.
But that has long-term ramifications that we are not prepared to deal with. In the short term, we have to start getting some things going. We have to start opening some businesses up and getting people back to work a little bit, just so that we don't have a huge strain on our welfare system in 7 months that collapses the welfare system, and then we have to kind of reboot everything, which would take years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to say, I just want to say that I think comparing numbers to other tragic events in human history is the absolute wrong way to go about this. 500,000 people have over, like, we had the number of deaths.
Mm-hmm.
Have we gotten, I think, 400,000 in the States?
No, we've crossed 500,000.
We crossed 500,000 people in the States alone. And that is 500,000 human beings who were friends, who were mothers, who were children, who were brothers and sisters, husbands and wives. And I think it's really inappropriate to be comparing numbers in that sense. I don't think that those numbers are worth less because one time in our history, more people died from other things. Well, and I think that, like, it's super important that we acknowledge that because there are, it's been dangerous in our society that people have believed that COVID is not a real threat because worse things have happened. And that has led to more people dying. So, we need to change our discourse about COVID and take it as the serious threat that it is. Because so many people have lost their lives. And I agree. I think that, this is the time when things need to start to reopen safely because we have to move forward here from some point. But I definitely think that that dismissing those people who have lost their lives because of this is the wrong way to go about that.
100%. No, I agree with that 100%. But also, nothing has affected modern human life like this since World War II. Yeah. Like, to say that there's anything that you could compare to this is even flawed, right? I think I read somewhere that, like, Corona has now killed more Americans than World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, thank you for those biddies, Azure.
Thank you, Azure,
I appreciate
for those
that.
bits. I appreciate that.
There is no question that Corona has changed life for the... I don't think there's any event in human history, or at least in recent human history, that has changed the way everybody on the Earth lives. Yes. But this has drastically shifted, other than people in Florida, but for everyone else on Earth, this has drastically changed the way that we live. And, sorry, that was a bad joke. But
honestly, we can... we know that for a fact because we know people in Florida. Yeah. So. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Hardcore Soft Popcorn. Thank you, Popcorn.
You guys are too sweet.
I appreciate that.
But this has impacted life more than anything that you can really, like, compare it to. Yeah. And
on a global scale.
My concern with reopening isn't, like, callous. Like, I'm not being like, I just want to reopen. I'm very fortunate in that I work in my apartment and, like, I'm okay. My concern is the people who are going to be the most impacted by a slow reopen that gets jobs down to the lower classes that aren't the elites. Those are going to be people hurt most by restaurants closing, for sure, by movie theaters closing, by, like, these kind retailers, of businesses that employ the normal person. And look, I know Amazon's making buco bucks. I get that, but not everyone can work for Amazon. Like, people need jobs, and it really is.
We need jobs.
I'm worried about the lower class coming back to work and having jobs and being taken care of in a situation where I don't think there's going to be jobs for them. And I think Azure, you don't need to say, you do not need to apologize. I totally understand. Unfortunately, this is a tough topic, and I know that this is tough for chat, and there's going to be feelings, and Cheesy, please, I really think that, I don't want to call you up, but I really think that you should go look at the way that you're approaching the situation. And Rebel, if you could just, hey, can you time out Cheesy for me, please? I would just appreciate that. But I am concerned about the people who I think are going to be the most affected by a slow opening. Yeah. A lot of those people are going to be people of color. I worked in the restaurant industry in New York. I know how many people work in the restaurant industry in New York. And I know how many of those people
who survive off of it.
But not just that. I know how many of those people are undocumented and do not get government assistance. Right. And I have a lot of friends who I have a lot of friends who I know are in positions where they're not receiving government assistance through all this, and the restaurants they worked at are closed.
Yeah.
And I am worried for them because I care about them. And I am worried that those restaurants never coming back impacts people who are the most vulnerable.
For sure.
And I don't, that's where my concern is. I want things to reopen because I want things to reopen safely because I want people to have jobs and be able to take care of their families.
For sure. And I think that New York has been pretty aggressive in their approach to combating this. In certain ways.
Now.
Now. And here's the thing. Obviously mistakes have been made all across the board. But, they did go into lockdown and other places didn't. And they are really definitely trying to get back on their feet, which is something that I can appreciate. And so I think reopening movie theaters at reduced capacity is like a good first step, because it gives people something. It gives people a stress release. It gives people jobs. It gives people something to look forward to. Something to take their kids to, so that the Croods 2 can be Tenet in numbers. And we know that that's what this is about. But I think that you have to make the effort to earn things like that. And it does seem that the effort has been made in the recent weeks to try and get things back on their feet. So I think as long as it's done safely, obviously precautions are going to be taken, then it's something. It's a small victory, and I hope it doesn't backfire.
Well, and hopefully things warm up. Hopefully we have an early spring this year, and outdoor dining can resume faster.
Yes.
Things like that. And Azure in our chat. I know it scrolled on the video, but I saw that you lost your grandparent. I just want to say I'm so sorry. I know how difficult it has been for so many people, and this has been a tough time. I lost my grandmother early on in the pandemic, not to COVID, but because of COVID, we couldn't gather for her, and that was really difficult. And we still haven't held any ceremony or any sort of funeral or anything yet because we're all just we want to do it when we can be together. It is important to us that we do it as a family, and the fact that we haven't been able to do that yet is it still weighs on me, and it's tough. And so Azure, I'm so sorry that you've had that difficulty. Azure says, my only concern with reopening theaters is how will you get people to keep their masks on? Movie theaters will be selling food because that is how they make their money, and laughing will spread much particles.
So they do sell food, and you can take your mask off at the movies that we've been to eat. However, from our understanding of COVID, it's about the viral load in the moisture, in the particles in the air, and you can kind of measure that in like a volume. I guess movie theaters are large because the screen is so tall. There's so much space in there that if you have a handful of people, the viral load is dispersed so quickly. That it's actually very hard to contract COVID. And
you have to, as long as you're sitting far enough away from each other.
Are good.
Yeah. As long as you're sitting far enough away from each other, the risk of that, Azure, isn't very high.
Yeah. So when we went, every other row was blocked off. Yeah. And then every few seats were blocked off.
And I'm not saying that there's no risk. And that's the thing, but there just is risk. You know what I mean? And Rockmage says they'll wait. And look, I think 100%. That the majority of people will.
Yeah.
I think that in New York City, where they have a significant section of their population that's vaccinated now, why not open? You know what I mean?
There are a lot of people that have the vaccine.
Because there's an amount of personal choice in that now, where if you're vaccinated, you want to go to the movies, I don't see why you shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, or if you're vaccinated and you want to work.
Yeah.
Having that choice would be great.
Here's the thing. Frank Bean says I won't go till I'm vaccinated. I feel the same way. I probably won't go till I'm vaccinated, but once I'm vaccinated, I'm going to enjoy life again. You know what I mean? And I'm still gonna be careful. Especially when it comes to being around elderly people and people who I know have disease or conditions that are
autoimmune diseases,
anything like that.
Yeah.
But Yeah, no, I intend to put my money back into my community once I'm vaccinated. I want to take the money I'm spending.
Yeah.
I've spent too much money on Amazon in this pandemic, and I'm.
Yeah, we would need to spend it other places.
That's because of need, and like I've been needing things, and it's hard to get them elsewhere because everything in Toronto's closed. But once this pandemic is over, I intend to take my money into my community and spend it places so that I can help rejuvenate the economy of my local community. And I hope that a lot of people do that. I hope that people don't get stuck in the cycle of just giving all their money to Amazon. Yeah. I hope that we take our dollar bills and we spend them in our communities so that the people around us, you know, the communities that we live in can rebuild from this. And I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's a tricky situation, and I think that personal choice plays a big part of it.
Yeah.
You know, we all have to do our part, and we all have to be smart, and we have to be safe. Yeah, don't be reckless.
Don't be reckless. Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be. I think if they do open, which is the plan, you know, there's gonna be a lot of eyes watching New York to see how the numbers are affected and stuff like that, so that perhaps other people or other businesses can follow in their example. We'll see.
Here's the thing. I think movie theaters are pretty safe.
Yeah.
It's when we start to open gyms and indoor dining that I think that that things might get more complicated. And that's, you know, the places I don't think are problems, retail. I don't see how in your 10 minutes in the Gap, you're, you know, with a mask on, you're really in any danger.
Yeah, especially because they tend to have very high ceilings in those big stores.
I don't know, things like that. If I can go to Shoppers Drug Mart, if Shoppers Drug Mart is no more dangerous than the Gap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more. Yeah.
Yep, we saw that, Rock Mage.
Anyway, we should probably end the show. We're still recording. We're gonna keep talking to you all in the Twitch chat. Don't worry. But we are gonna end the morning show here. Y'all, movie theaters are opening in New York. It might be a good thing, it might be a bad thing. I was really excited about it for a moment, and then I started to think about it, and it is complicated. And the problem is the world is complicated. But you know what's not complicated? I'm going to be beating a Beedrill run later today. And you can come watch that, 2 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/nerdynightly. You're going to be back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I'm on tomorrow. I'm going to be playing some Pokemon Emerald.
What?
Yeah, I know.
What?
I know.
Love it.
We gotta get our 7th badge. And we have to decide on who we want our 6th Pokemon to be to take on the Elite Four.
Ooh.
So if you want an opinion in on that, come hang out with me at 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow.
You're not going to catch Rayquaza?
No, I'm not going to use legendaries for the Elite Four.
Love it.
Yeah, I just was like, nah, let's just go. Let's not.
And on that note, y'all, my name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
Do something nerdy tonight. Bye.
Bye.